basically our conversations are centering around the place of tertiary education and how this tertiary education can be inclusive for persons with disabilities, and that is the wide range of disabilities, be it a deaf person, be it a visually impaired person, or a person with a psychosocial disability. And at this moment, I would like to switch it to you, Professor. Kindly greet us. How is Kisumu that other side, as you also extensively get to introduce yourself?
All right, good morning. Kisumu looks cloudy today.
Yes.
So it's normal. Kisumu is usually not being hot. And you can see I'm wearing a leather jacket. And that tells you it's not too good, not too rosy in Kisumu today. Um, uh, Professor Humphrey Boyle is World Talent Federation Secretary General. I work in the US in a place called Bowling Green, Kentucky. I work well to run, assess, and fund individual related abilities, connect them with the right learning paths or opportunities that best maximize potentials. And at the moment in Kisumu, establishing the first talent university in Africa. We are at the tail end of doing that. We've been inspected by the Kenya Commission for University Education, who are coming in to do the final inspection. For the end of the year, we should have the university accredited, offer services to those who are those who probably cannot write the exams, yet their potentials other ways. So our job requires that we connect people with their natural abilities. It is very difficult in Kenya today to connect education and real life because we forgot that our natural abilities, which are measurable, might not conform to the rubrics of academics. I've been saying this for close to 30 years on various TV channels. Uh, Media channels. I recently was on KTN Spice FM, where myself and Professor Douglas Odhiambo were active, and how uh, people diluted the original idea, ran away with it to form CBC, and why CBC is today having the problems and probably a crisis right now in the country called Kenya. Some of you do not know, if you come where I'm making the university, you'll find a giant tree known as Professor Douglas Odhiambo tree. The late Professor Douglas Odhiambo is the one who started Moi University. He was appointed by the late President Kibaki as the chairman of alignment of the new constitution with education, the reform there. And I was part of that process. The process finally led into what is called CBC, but we were inclined to do a different thing by them. What informs our work is based on realities. I want to give you an example. I was in Eldoret at some point, and we were installing one of the equipment used to assess talent. It's known as human anthropobiometric 3D optical sensing technology fitted with modern AI equipment that is able to determine your signal sequence, determine whether your left brain, right brain, upper brain, lower brain, and respondingly quickly and scientifically giving us your strong potentials, which now we can use to forecast your careers. So a mother came in with a child and she was complaining that this child does not eat. She said she has gone to doctors And doctors have checked everything and they confirm that there's no problem with the child, probably it's just an attitude problem. So just force him to eat. Mothers being mothers, she followed us in the morning, insisting, assess my child. I did assess. Then I saw she had prolonged labor, and the prolonged labor created high inner value, high energy value termination point. That means, what is it that you call autism? What is it that you call bipolar? What is it that you call cerebral palsy? What are these? These are signal termination effects. During pregnancy, during labor, during birth, so many things occur that create this. For example, during pregnancy, the food you eat, the food cravings that you do have, they have an impact in changing the signal sequence. Prolonged labor has an impact on signal sequence. Pre and post birth, they have their own impacts. Sickness, malnutrition, in the first 4 years, we have the impact. And on this particular occasion, during prolonged labor, the impact on termination, because when a child cries at birth, is the kick of life. Signals begin, it's like kibiriti ya maisha. But then signals as move, they have to terminate for people who understand human metrics. If it terminates with high energy, stay in the tongue. For this particular case, it creates high energy values in the tongue. It creates weak signals in the vocal cords, then you have speech problems. So we say your vocal cords are not strong enough to create sound. If they create weak termination signals in the joints, and you cannot walk, we say your cerebral palsy is disabled. And these are things that you understand in science. And if you do understand that, you understand a human. And if you understand a human, then it's very easy to now train a human based on those natural abilities. And this young man, he found those high termination signals at the time, creating high sensitive taste buds. I tried again 3 times, checked with my colleague Hans Neibert of in Germany. We are not believing what we're seeing. Today, that young man is a wine coffee taster. And one time I asked, that was long ago, Professor Malone was still the Minister for Education. I asked him, and he dismissed. I asked Machogu, I'm planning to ask Ogambo, what is the curriculum or syllabus for this one? Because they live so much in curriculum and for classroom. I'm telling you, for people on Science TV to understand, God gave you the unique abilities. Unfortunately, you're being hoodwinked to think that those natural abilities belong to academic schools. You got to do an assessment. Determine the extent and order of those natural abilities. Then understand your product and learning style. And finally, determine your potential path, the dominant and the subordinate path of abilities. Then you will succeed. Many successful people are not from the classroom. I have seen a disabled person sing from the lungs. I have seen small children under the age of 3 say the names of all presidents and vice presidents in the world in flash of seconds. You see that on TV. Ask yourself one question. Where is the syllabus of the curriculum there? So there's another alternative learning. And now we know We're lied to that there's learning in the four walls of a classroom by the colonizers, who wanted to colonize our minds. While themselves, they created for themselves freedom. The essence of education is to have freedom to think, freedom to imagine, freedom to explore, adventure, try, fail, fail again till you make it. But ours is uptight in a classroom, and there's only one answer. You must pass, and if you fail, we don't know you. That's not the essence of life. That is normal, basic, traditional education that cannot continue because over and over, decades and decades, we've used that with no results. And if you don't have results in 60 years of independence, then you got to question yourself. Should I continue that model? That is where we come in to introduce to you, apart from academic learning, there's also natural learning that we call talent-based learning. And I will have to define for you the meaning of talent, because many of you think talent is sport, comedy, music. That's nonsense. That's not the meaning of talent. Thank you.
Has in unborn babies. You, you are saying, because you are saying that at the birth also there, that will predict the future in terms of education. Could I say about that?
And he tells you his business is booming. What is in your mind? A coffee maker tells you his business is doing very well. What is really going on? If you found people in the pharmaceutical industry and you ask them, how come you're making profits? What is on your mind?
Stop them. Yes. Because they have the people they're selling.
So therefore they're buying more medicine, isn't it?
Yes.
Let me ask you another question. And therefore, why would we have medicine that would heal? Because if people got healed, there will be no need to buy new medicine. And if you listen to the thin lines from the pharmaceutical industry and the giants that support them, they will say, we are managing. They never see healing. Healing was only from Jesus and the big religious leaders. I'm sure you got the answer there. There'll never, ever be any pharmaceutical product that will heal. They will manage to some extent create new problems for us to find a new vaccine, to create a new problem, and to continue having on and on. So it's not surprising what you ask me It should just be obvious because the pharmaceutical industry just like that. I hope I've answered you in some way.
The answer is coded, but I will take that for now. Probably I will look for you for a more in-depth conversation and exploration of that. Prof, for talent-based education, what is the journey like?
To know your talent and to define talent. And your metric values. Talent is measurable. When we have time, I will define the metric values, but today I will only say each human has unique metric values which make you able differently from another person. An average human has 142 such metric values, and we measure them in a unit called GENRE, Genre. So sometimes you hear, what talent GENRE do you have? That's the definition. People confuse talent with competence. People confuse talent with interest. People confuse talent with passion. Passion, interest, competence are outcomes. They're indicators that you do have such potential. It's like saying, if you're fever, if you're coughing, if you're sneezing, if you have a backache, that is not the sickness. Those are symptoms. The sickness is somewhere. So for me now to find the sickness, for now, you're asking me how to find talent. How do I find your innate metric values? Think like a hospital. How do you find the sickness of a person? This is what you do. You walk to a hospital, they open your file, you meet a nurse. The nurse asks you, when did it start? Did you take any medication? What did you eat? Was there an accident? Why do you think the nurse is asking those questions? They want to establish what possibly be wrong, so they narrow down to an area. Then, of the nurse, go to the doctor. We will ask further questions, having reviewed what the nurse recorded. Then the doctor will order a diagnosis. That diagnosis can include, say, a lab test. Why do they do that? To confirm or eliminate their own thoughts. Our talent assessment follows exactly that line. And to know your talent, you have to go to an established talent clinic. The word clinic is not in medical terms. It's used arbitrarily because there's a center. In a talent clinic, you have people known as oral screeners. The oral screeners are like the nurse in the hospital. They'll ask you historical background. I was mentioning about things of pregnancy, things of labor, things of birth. That's where now we get the oral background, just like nurses do. Step 2, we have what are called psycho-screeners. That is like the doctor, a trained psychologist with a bias, human metrics, who will review what the oral screeners have done. Having completed that, you will go to what is known as anthropobiometric screening. Anthropobiometric kit consists of a cubicle fitted with a 3D to 4D optical sensing camera. In flash of seconds, it takes you a picture, but in science, it determines what I call your human quantum points. When it finishes a flash, it produces your image without the normal human image. It will produce you, but it will only show you in the form of signal paths. Where signals are more efficient, it will paint green. Where signals are ish-ish, it will paint it yellow. And where there are energy blockages, it will paint it red. For us, a trained psychoscreener, whom I am, when I look at that image, compared with the background information I do have, I can make a decision. But then technology has enhanced by the addition of computer algorithms in the form of now AI. So it gives us even more information with the extrapolation, which now gives us the hint of projection or prediction of that potential. Now, for me to determine your potential, I need to think like a psychologist. In psychology, the front of your brain, called the front lobe, is divided into left brain and right brain. There's a thin membrane divided into upper and lower brains. The left upper side of your brain represents science. The right upper side of your brain is called the human volcanic brain, the brain of people who don't follow rules and conform to people. Decision brain, the brain of physical strength for boxers, sports people, is in the right lower. All I need to know about a human, if there was a need for your brain to intervene, say there's a problem on your toe. The cells in your toe usually elicit a signal, but that signal will go to the quickest path to a section of the brain. So if I see that signal from that image, that always when something happens in your body, the signal propagation is to the left upper side of your brain. Then I will see clear, more likely to be a scientist. See, if I see it on the right upper side, volcanic, more likely to be a musician, comedian, or something. And then like for the rest, now you can see how easy it is for me to know your potential and even be able to predict it. This is very vital in the world of today because long ago, we would only guess. You go up to university, complete a degree, which you finally ban, having wasted your parents' resources because you don't think it. That changes. Yeah, carry on.
Explanation. I want us to take a quick break. When we come back from the break and we are short of time, I would like you to assist me do two things. You know, in the disability space, there is this connotation that you are abled differently, and I've heard you say that people are talented differently. I would like you to dispel that connotation and tell us, would a person with disability be abled differently based off of their disability and how and the type of disability that they have? And also the second question that I want you to take us through is the affordability, because when you talk about all this, it sounds a very long process. How then do we make it affordable for even a child before they go to university? Say we look the other way and we let children go through high school, but before they join university, they go through this sort of psychographic screening, and they are able to be told, hey, when you go to university, please do this. Do not base so much on the subjects that you did in high school. Prof, I hope you are going to be able to take us through that as we come back from this break.